Pokot County Climate Change Fund for issue Inua Biashara Fund for the year ended 30th June 2025. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay.
Senator Fatuma Dulo.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that the Senate notes the report of the proceeding of the high-level political forum of the Interparliamentary Union held in New York, United States of America on 22nd July 2025, laid on the...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to give notice of the following motion, that where Article 42 of the Constitution guarantees every person the right to a clean and healthy environment, which includes access to safe energy options. Further aware that over 900 million Africans, including more than 90% in high levels of indoor air pollution that cause premature deaths, particularly among women and children. Concerned that in Kenya, indoor air pollution has been linked to over 23,000 annual deaths, with women and girls bearing the disproportionate burden of time spent collecting firewood and cooking, limiting their education and economic opportunities. Noting that traditional cooking methods contribute significantly to deforestation, greenhouse gas emissions, and climate vulnerability at the county level, undermining national commitments under the Energy Act 2019 and Climate Change Act 2016, and Kenya's nationally determined contributions and NDCs. Recalling that the African Clean Cooking Summit Paris 2023 mobilized $2.2 billion in commitments to clean cooking, and the International Energy Agency has recommended urgent financing and policy action to achieve universal access by 2040. Acknowledging the efforts of some counties, the development partners, and private sector. Now, therefore, the Senate resolves that the Council, number one, Council of Governors develops county-level policies, frameworks, and budgets that mainstream clean cooking in financing frameworks, including results. Number three, county governments incorporate clean cooking targets in their county integrated development plans, CADPs, and ensure public institutions such as schools, health facilities, and prisons adopt clean cooking solutions. Number four, National Treasury and county governments to fast-track letters of authorization to unlock carbon projects. Finally, county governments engage the private sector actors and community organizations to... Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Senator Moruma. That statement is dropped. The Honorable Androm Tata. Here, two statements. They are supposed to be read by Senator for Nairobi City County. Senator Sifuna. Those two statements are dropped. Senator Seki.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Request for a statement on the failure for 48 former employees. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to statement Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on a matter of inter-county concerns regarding the failure by Northwest Water and Company Limited to pay court-awarded compensation to 48 former employees. Mr. Speaker, sir, 48 former since 2018, when they were dismissed by the company without notice without settlement, and their salaries arrears, and without remittance of statutory deductions dating back to 2017, the Employment and Labor Relations Court, in a ruling delivered on 21st September 2023, directed the company to pay the former employees a total consideration of Kenya shillings 100. This amount remain unpaid to date. In the statement, the committee should Loitoktok Water and Sewerage Company Limited, which is jointly owned by the county government of Machakos, Kajiado, and Makueni, to pay the court-awarded compensation to the 48 to the former employees in line with the court ruling. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion, consideration of the National Assembly amendments to the county government's additional allocations. Number 2 bill, Senate Bills number 8 of 2025. Resumption of debate interrupted on Thursday, 30th October 2025. Question to be put.
Clerk, do we have the requisite quorum? 2025 be now considered. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, honorable senators, for the convenience of the House, I will, pursuant to Standing Order 45, to rearrange today's order paper. We will call the Senate Majority Leader to take the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the chance to comment on this motion by Senator Cherargei. I'm not sure if you'd be very pleased, Mr. Speaker, because there are certain concerns I have with regards to the drafting. While in broad perspective, I support what this motion seeks to do, Mr. Speaker, I have concerns about item number 1 on the to-do list or the ask in terms of the resolution that this House is to pass. Senator Cherargei, Mr. Speaker, wants this House to resolve and propose to the Cabinet Secretary for Finance, because that's where all this eventually to interns to cushion them against the high cost of living. While at the very sight of it, it appears very noble, Mr. Speaker, there is a serious concern in the country, and there is a conversation which as leaders we must have devoid of emotions and appreciate where we are as a country, and have a hard look at the facts and see if the trend that currently obtains is sustainable, Mr. Speaker. And I appreciate that Senator Cherargei has just walked in, and this is his motion. So I'll have a take at what I had said earlier, Mr. Speaker, for the benefit of the mover of the motion, that while I agree with you, Senator Cherargei, broadly, in broad perspective, about issues to do with the quality of training environment that our interns have, because interns, the work environment. However, Mr. Speaker, I raised, and I was quick to raise, the fact that I do not agree with him on resolution number 1, which is the desire, Speaker, that we must have a conversation in this country about the earnings of public workers, Mr. Speaker, because we are staring at a very difficult decision. I think it was yesterday or earlier this morning, I have seen in one of the news items, the CS for Finance was speaking. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, you know, since our media houses started competing with bloggers, it's very difficult to trust anything they post about serious items unless you see a voice of a particular minister to understand or to put context into what they were saying. But broadly speaking, CS Mbadi was reminding the country that currently we are spending close to 90 billion every month paying public workers, Mr. Speaker, across the country, all the people that we pay. Last year, which is the best year in terms of revenue performance, Mr. Speaker, we collected slightly above 2.5 trillion. If out of 2.5 trillion, Mr. Speaker, nearly 40% of that goes ahead to pay the salaries of public workers, Mr. Speaker, who in my estimation are barely, I don't know, I need to get the numbers correctly. That's why I want us to have this conversation, Mr. Speaker, and this is a conversation that we shall soon be having because we are about to begin consideration of the BPS, Mr. Speaker. If you compare the amount being spent, the people earning, vis-a-vis those that are contributing, Mr. Speaker, there's a serious discrepancy. And I gave the example a few weeks ago when I was moving a bill in this House, that in my own county, when I did the county workers, which is the total number of public servants that earn out of our shareable revenue, earning close to 40% of our shareable revenue in a county of public servants. We must reduce, Mr. Speaker. And these are things that we have to tell each other. It may not sound popular, Mr. Speaker, but even you that are being employed, you should be concerned because of what benefit will it be for you to carry a piece of paper saying it is unemployment, yet at the rate at which you are. Mr. Speaker, the rate at which our public wage bill is growing is unsustainable, and that has been the case for the last decade plus. But nobody has had the courage to confront this statistic, Mr. Speaker, and ask the people of Kenya that we perhaps relook and have a conversation about what are our priority areas. Mr. Speaker, finance, this is what you have, this is what you need to do. Out of the things that you need to do, if you do this, but I know because I don't have the resources now, let me list a priority of the things that I need to do. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, we have never had that conversation. And this is something, because I saw CS Mbadi speak about it, I think yesterday, that as a country we must speak under full realization. We need to move this conversation not just from counties. And as Senate, we have done a good job of highlighting how much is being spent by our counties on public, personnel compensation, Mr. Speaker. What is happening to the counties? It affects even our shareable revenue. Part of the reason why we cannot hit 450 billion, Mr. Speaker, is because we are being told of salaries, Mr. Speaker. Required, Mr. Speaker, in learning how to work in Public Service Commission, Mr. Speaker. While that is important, resolution number 1 is in conflict with a very important national conversation that this country has been yearning to have for the last 10 years plus, but nobody has had. He has pricked our conscience as a country to appreciate that there are certain decisions which we make as a country, which in the fullness of time will ensure that making is that this is a timely conversation which we are having here as a Senate, and I hope that the minister can reveal to us so that we appreciate. You have seen, Mr. Speaker, and I think there is nothing wrong with this culture of talking to each other and saying what is available and what is not available. You know, the problem we have in this country, Mr. Speaker, is that we want to make conversations about tax realization of eventually what will be the dynamo effect on the rest of the economy, Mr. Speaker. And that is something which as leaders we must learn to be honest with ourselves. The unfortunate bit about it, Mr. Speaker, is that we are yet to realize that we need to prioritize the needs of the country, Mr. Speaker, in comparison to the resources that are available, so that we appreciate and know what to face as a republic in this day and age. Look at the country like the United States of America. The government has been on a shutdown for I don't know how many weeks because people cannot agree on a budget, because they know that you must operate within a certain fiscal frame, which, if you bust it, you are endangering the sustainable standards of living in that particular country. You are burdening the future generations. How did we get to the levels of debt that we have today, Mr. Speaker? It was because of decisions that were made at the spur of the moment, emotional decisions, Mr. Speaker, trying to appease certain sections of society without realizing that in the fullness of time, we will affect every corner of the republic because of those decisions. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I agree that in terms of human capital development, Mr. Speaker, that is charged with the PSC, Public Service Commission, that it is important that we ensure that we have skilled public workers who can offer services to the citizens, Mr. Speaker, and be assured of the future generations that when we walk to a public office, Mr. Speaker, they getting it to only increment of stipend, Mr. Speaker. I believe there are other things that we can do for our interns beyond just increasing their salary, Mr. Speaker, that will end realization of knowing how much. You may want to do some more research on these particulars to converse about, so that you guide us and help us appreciate that as we make some of these decisions, Mr. Speaker, what is the impact on the economy, Mr. Speaker? What will be the cost? And you know, Mr. Speaker, nowadays, I have seen a trend and a practice. I'm not sure anyway that I want to wade into that conversation because it's very alive. Even as I speak, Mr. Speaker, I have messages on my phone about that particular topic, which I don't want to get into at this particular time. But we must be serious, Mr. Speaker, as a country, as a leadership, the same way we are pushing counties to stick within the provisions of Regulation 25 of the PFM, which is to keep personnel emoluments below 35%, Mr. Speaker, that we must push the same from the national government as well. We must have a capping, Mr. Speaker. And these are some of the things that we said when we passed that motion, possible to satisfy everything at every time. And that being the case, then we must begin to ask ourselves, what do we prioritize at this point? What is it that we can pay? We must have a limit, Mr. Speaker, and say that beyond a certain limit, Mr. Speaker, there is nothing that you do. You just tell people it's not there and it's not there. This thing of selling hope, Mr. Speaker, on matters finances is what has made our life very difficult. Other countries, Mr. Speaker, are honest with each other. And they're able to tell people that, unfortunately, we are sorry. This is the maximum that we can employ at this particular time. Let's wait. If things get better, we'll have that conversation. But somehow, somewhere, beyond. And that is what has messed us up to get us to this point where we are consuming 90 billion shillings every month, Mr. Speaker. And in fact, that conversation is not complete, Mr. Speaker, because I know in my days in budget and finance, we've always asked, in these days of AI, Mr. Speaker, in this country where technological penetration is in levels higher than the rest of our peers in sub-Saharan Africa, Mr. Speaker, why is it not possible to establish the accurate number of public workers in this country, Mr. Speaker? I know for a fact, because I read through it, you have no legitimate way of checking. And there are people who resist it. Within the structures of public service, Mr. Speaker, any attempt to establish the accurate number of public workers so that we know, out of this 90 billion, for example, that CS Mbadi is telling us we are consuming every month, many work in the core civil service, we need to know so that we can have a proper conversation that is informed, Mr. Speaker, by figures, so that we know where is it that we can trim. We can be honest with each other and say, I don't think this is sufficient a number to have. All we read, Mr. Speaker, and we are fighting about it is that, oh, we have a shortage of policemen, we're employing 10,000 this year, we have a shortage of this other one, we are adding this particular number. That conversation cannot be complete, Mr. Speaker, unless the National Treasury leads the country into having a conscious conversation about earnings in the public service, Mr. Speaker. And that will only happen if they are open with the figures. It's not enough for the minister to just tell us, oh, it's 90 billion. 90 billion paying who? Where? How many, Mr. Speaker, in total? I believe that until those figures are brought to fore, this conversation is not complete, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, while I agree with what Senator Cherargei is proposing to us, I feel that for him to do proper justice to his motion, he has to add the numbers that we are asking for. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Senator Sifuna.
I know he's watching us from the US. I was not able to take his statements because he had delegated to me, but I'm sure I will get opportunity to do them. But we have to have difficult conversations with the senator for Nandi. The way the majority leader was saying, the Speaker, when this motion was brought, because I also have advisors on public service, I thought there, yeah, we as leaders must accept that we don't know everything and that there are experts in this country. Honorable Speaker, if you public service, it's just that we have not created an environment for them to feel safe to come and offer those services here at home. So I spoke to somebody who is very well versed with this issue of internship in the public service that we lawyers do, so that you are able to get some practical experience in the field that you studied before you go into formal employment. Now, the way that it was designed, at least this is what I was told, 1,000 shillings, which, Honorable Speaker, if you remember, I don't know where you went for your pupillage, but Honorable Speaker, I went to pupillage, the first one at a law firm called Cairo and McCourt. Teach me at that law firm is more than anything that I have learned in the university. And those of you who went to pupillage at under Mr. McCourt, remember he had a favorite term for all people who were not properly backed. And I will always appreciate everything that I learned under Mr. McCourt. In 2005, he was than anything else. And I remember it was very tough because surviving in Nairobi on such a stipend was very, very difficult. And Speaker, he used to make it even more painful that instead of just giving you that 7,500 across the counter, he would actually write you a check. So Speaker, we used to just see like he just wanted to spite us some more. And those days you had to wait for checks to mature. I don't know if that we have failed to create enough opportunities for young people to work. People want to work. Speaker, if you saw the sheer numbers of people who apply for jobs when an advertisement is put out, these are not lazy people who think they want to earn an easy living. They want to work for the country. It is for us as a leadership to create these opportunities for them. So even when somebody lands an internship in public service, they actually see it as a job. And they are always looking to see if they can be confirmed in those roles and to push the envelope as much as possible. Because after you finish that internship, Senator Cherargei, you go out there and there are no other opportunities for you. That is where the problem is, Honorable Speaker. So for me, really, if you talk about this amount, these ones are doing a bit better than the junior secondary school teachers. You can imagine who are earning 17,000 shillings, Honorable Speaker, a full-time salary. Surviving in this city on 17,000 shillings is almost a miracle. And when I hosted the teachers for World Teachers Day on the 5th of October, they are telling us stories, Honorable Speaker, that first of all, as a man, there's no way you can bring your wife, if you're married, to Nairobi to stay with you under that 17,000 shillings. The wife has to remain at home there, up country. And Honorable Speaker, you know the strain that it puts on marriages when there is that distance between the husband and wife. It is impossible to find decent housing. Speaker, I don't know what the global recommended amount of money or percentage you should spend of your salary you should spend on accommodation. But at least 30%, Honorable Speaker, should go to finding your accommodation. If you did 30% of 17,000, it's just slightly above 5,000 in silence. If you speak to them, they will tell you even the rate of suicide is very high. What I want to tell them, because I know they are watching, and this behavior started with this other union, Honorable Speaker, that we were trying to push for permanent and pensionable terms. I think it was the doctors. Oh, no, the UHC workers. We want to help, but please don't harass us. Speaker, you get a leader, maybe one of the leaders in the union, whoever it is, have a sit down. We are reasonable people. Have a conversation with us and we will represent you. But Speaker, this idea of just spamming leaders from morning to evening, even you cannot read any other messages on your phone. It is just confirming JS teachers permanent and pensionable. I want to look at them in the eye and tell them, are you really helping yourselves by spamming the very people that you want to help to survive on 17,000 shillings, let alone 25,000 shillings in this country, in this town? Speaker, there is another, factor for Senator Cherargei to consider. But then the unintended consequence might be that there is a reduction in the number of opportunities that are then offered to the young people for training. So, Speaker, unless the National Assembly allocates more money towards this internship program in the public service, it might be very difficult to enhance without having a reduction in the number of people who are offered those opportunities. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, there's something to consider that the Public Service Commission. Now, Senator Cherargei, when we pass this motion, you have said them to increase the stipend offered to interns to cushion them against the high cost of living. I don't know how we are going to circumvent the fact that we are dealing with an independent commission. Maybe, Honorable Speaker, maybe there could be another way of how to increase the allocation towards this program. Then we can have not only more young people joining the program, but also them living on a proper stipend. Speaker, it is incumbent upon us as a leadership had a conversation, and the reason why I was late, Honorable Speaker, we had been invited to have a conversation with the Ambassador of Germany and France, and they talk about the business environment that has been created in the country, that they would want, does not really care as a plant where it is in the world. You can plant it in the middle of Naivasha, but there are certain things you have to put there. You have to have the proper infrastructure, protect the business itself. They are willing to invest. And what we must do as leaders is to look at the circumstances of doing business in this country, the taxation regime that we put in place, and so on and so forth. And even, Speaker, as far as the dispute resolution mechanisms, one of the reasons why you see many of these international contracts have clauses for arbitration or settlement of disputes through arbitration in foreign jurisdictions is because they have no faith in the Kenyan judicial system to be able to resolve disputes. And disputes are commonplace in business. It can be a dispute about anything. So, Honorable Speaker, that is where the responsibility for leadership lies, that we are able to look at all of these things to be able to create a level playing field for all business people from across the world, and they will most definitely invest. We were discussing about even the regime that supports privately initiated proposals, private-public partnerships. The law is that we are required as a country to let the whole world know what are the priority projects for which we are seeking partnership. It should not be a secret like how we handle the airport, Honorable Speaker. It was a terrible way to handle a project of that magnitude. Let the country know that we want a second terminal. It's privately initiated. We know it will come to a specific person. That person has a responsibility to disclose. And I want to thank the CS for Treasury Mbadi, because after that debacle of Adani, I saw him publish in the newspapers some guidelines on how to handle those privately initiated proposals. And those are the conversations we want to have, because some of us, Honorable Speaker, are believers in the Constitution. If you look at Article 10, everything that is done in this country requires to follow those guidelines in Article 10, including transparency. Let us not wait to see on social media that, oh, the airport has been sold. No, that communication needs to come from government. They say, we have received this proposal, we are looking at it, and this is what they are saying we should do, so that we encourage investors to be able to invest in our country and create the employment that is needed. Speaker, we had a delegation here in Parliament from the German here. Ukiwa na njaa daddy today we have not eaten. And then you don't do, some of us would go to the ends of the world for our children. So the conversation we are having, even as Europe grapples with the question of immigration, the source of the problem is here. Can we create an environment in Africa, in our countries, that discourages people to go out? Even this issue of sending people out there, I don't know why anyone would be proud. Because basically, you are piggybacking on efforts of other countries to be able to create opportunities for their people. Then you say we have sent 10,000 Kenyans there. How many of them are coming here to work in businesses that you've built? That is the question we need to ask. And how many Kenyans have you provided to work? They want to be able to put into practice the things that they went to school to learn, and that is our responsibility as leadership. Nandi, and I hope that there can be a lasting solution to the problem of unemployment in Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me an opportunity to also add my voice into this important debate. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to start and pick from where Senator Sifuna left it. He said he does not know how many people do really come back here. I'm one of those who got an opportunity to go through a dual system, education system in Germany. Indeed, it opens an opportunity for you to develop the experience, especially in technical field. I am a software engineer, diploma with Siemens. I want to support this motion and say, indeed, we need to look at the whole spectrum of how we are doing it. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is not just enough to add on the strength that we are giving people doing the apprenticeship or doing the attachment. What we need to do, we need to introduce a system that encourages to do a dual system, especially in technical field. More in the attachment than they did learn in the university, something that has also been confirmed by Senator Sifuna, in some technical courses where you need to develop the fine feeling of what you are doing, especially in precision engineering. You need to develop the passion. It would be important, Mr. would allow the dual system for schools and enterprises to coexist, Mr. Speaker. This would only be possible, Mr. Speaker, if we make sure that we bring research centers in our institutions of learning, especially higher learning, and then we give them the opportunity to mitigate some of the costs that we incur through this apprenticeship. Mr. Speaker, indeed, this country has continued pumping over 1 million graduates into the market, but we've not created enough opportunity. And it starts there from where my colleague said, and I want to say that I was happy when I was also the share of energy, that we realized one of the biggest hindrances we have in this country, Mr. Speaker, is the cost of power. With the cost of power going up to 26 cents USD per kilowatt hour, Mr. Speaker, we are barely any investments. But, Mr. Speaker, technology has evolved, nuclear energy has become more safer, it has become more affordable, and most importantly, we have now mini reactor, we have small nuclear reactor that are able to produce bunches of up to 200, 300 megawatts, and that for about 80 years, Mr. Speaker. The best investment, Mr. Speaker, like wind, you have a life expectancy of 20 years, investing so much money. And now that, Mr. Speaker, Kenya has gone and is almost getting there, that we are able to invest our pension fund in some of our development projects. It is the high time, Mr. Speaker, that we relook at some of the dynamics that attract investments. And we will not achieve that, Mr. Speaker, unless we ensure that the cost of energy has been brought down. The marginalized counties that make about 80% of the landmass in Kenya, Mr. Speaker, they remain unconnected to the national grid. Landing a diesel generator, Mr. Speaker, you cannot be able to produce any product that can be compete with any other product from anywhere in any part of the world. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, it is the high time that we adopt the modern technology as we look at mainstreaming our schools to become duality now that we have the CBC system, where kids right from grade 4 would be introduced to a day or two per week where they go and then they make a choice that is informed of what they would want to be, and not wait until they do the exam and then the exam results would choose them what to become. Mr. Speaker, most of us waited until they graduated to see what they want to become in life because of the competition that's there. We were not, and we do not have the luxury to make a choice right from kindergarten I would want to become this and that, and they would get an opportunity to visit those kind of industries, those kind of service providers, and indeed make their decision and affirm that that is what they want to do. Mr. Speaker, that is the only way that can ensure that we are able to absorb the ever younger population that's getting younger into the job market. But, Mr. Speaker, we must also realign ourselves with the changing technology. We must also be able to leverage the way we do things with the Internet of Things, so to align it with the production, because artificial intelligence, as much as people may not want to agree with me, it's going to become as an important production factor as capital is, as land is, and as labor is. Mr. Speaker, if we do not address the issues of power shortage we have, with a spending reserve of less than 10%, Mr. Speaker, there is no serious investor that's going to come to this country. And without attracting enough serious investors, without value addition, which will not be possible if the cost of power becomes very high, Mr. Speaker, it is the high time we look at the model. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, I'm a proud supporter of the KK government, because for the first time in 62 years, we are able to use our pension fund to invest in our own infrastructure development project. Mr. Speaker, we have, for the our people have been detailing after working most importantly to ensure that as we move the younger generation into the next phase where they'll need to move this country and make this country a developed country, we must relook at the way we are doing our things. And therefore, I want to thank Senator Shelagay for this wonderful motion, but I want to tell him, yes, indeed, there are a lot that needs to be considered. And one of the things that we need to be streamed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to also add my voice to the motion by Senator Cherargei on this internship program by the Public Service Commission. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, I must say that the millions of young people that have left schools and colleges and are not engaged, to give them an opportunity to choose career paths and sharpen those career paths that they choose. The Speaker, unemployment is a serious threat to national stability. I have a different way of looking at engagements with the young people, especially in major cities. The Speaker, every time politicians and political leaders, even church people, every time you call a meeting during the week, a rally, a crusade, and you see tens of thousands of young people attending those rallies and those meetings and those crusades. The Speaker, it speaks to the problem of unemployment in this country. It speaks to a situation where we have young people that are not engaged, are on the ground collecting stories and filing stories to the newsrooms. But when it comes to recognition and reward, they are the least paid, they are the least interns that are taken in by the PSC. Now, Speaker, I would want to add a voice. It is time that we... Now, Speaker, I would want to add a voice. It is time that we begin to ask use in a proper way to ensure that we create opportunities for young people to prosper and to be engaged. Now, Speaker, I know there is a subject that is not very, very sweet with a lot of people, but it is one that we must confront. I was earlier discussing it with the Senator of Mombasa here a few minutes ago. You know, Mr. Speaker, there is money that we collect from all of us who are payslips called the housing levy. And collect that money. Mr. Speaker, there are projects taking place in some places, not taking place everywhere. But the most agonizing thing, Mr. Speaker, is to be told that that part of that money has been invested in treasury bills. Mr. Speaker, let me say this.
that, Mr. Speaker, the best way of doing these things is there was an agenda of this administration, and even those of us who are in the Azimio coalition, Mr. Speaker, to create and equip at least one factory in every county. At least for us, that was very clear. That, Mr. Speaker, we need to have not just the public service, but even the private sector to get into the space of creating opportunities for young people to be profitably engaged. Mr. Speaker, this program, as rolled out by the Public Service Commission in 2019, as I said, it is a good program. But there are opportunities and there is room for improvement in this program, Mr. Speaker. In this way, seeing as it were, that we have so many young people out there who have graduated from schools and colleges and they are not engaged, Mr. Speaker, there is an opportunity to make it mandatory that every institution of government must create avenues for internship for young people. There is room for improvement, Mr. Speaker, even for the private sector institutions, so that internship becomes something Kenyan, you know, in a way that we are able to absorb our own people and give them opportunities. And in it, Mr. Speaker, there should be clear career progression paths. So that a child or a young person joining an institution as an intern knows that if they perform well, there is opportunity for them, first of all, after such a period of time, to be absorbed in the job, and secondly, to progress through the ranks of that institution, that organization, even the top level in that organization. So, Mr. Speaker, the pride that I see some of us take in saying that we have sent X number of young people to do jobs in Asia, in Europe, in the Middle East. Mr. Speaker, that is something that we should not be proud of. We are exporting young talent, energetic young people to go and help other economies to grow and prosper. Locally. Mr. Speaker, I've seen some county governments have done a good job. There are some county governments that are running youth programs, you know, absorbing X number of youths in their counties, giving them opportunities to undertake important roles in the development of the counties. And at some point, after a period of time, they train them and tool them to invest. That this motion is an important motion, is one thing that we need to think about very, very seriously and ensure that it does not just happen with the Public Service Commission, but expand the scope to other institutions, the private sector, the county governments, so that we take in a lot more young people in useful and profitable engagement. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I support.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, first and foremost, I want to thank Honorable Sergei. Honorable Sergei, actually, most of his motions are welfare issues. I want him to keep up, actually, because always he looks into the matters of, you know, the sportsmen, the youth, the women, and I'm really impressed on that. Honorable Speaker, actually, the issue of engaging students, young men and women who have come to the university into interns is a very important thing. It builds confidence. It gives them exposures. So at least other Kenyans, when they interact in workplaces, they learn more from each other. Honorable Speaker, in the past, when we were in universities, we used to have field attachments where we go different parts of the country. We learn new friends. We learn new skills. Actually, what you learn in class and what you learn in the field is actually what you learn in the field is more helping and more practical. Honorable Speaker, one thing I've seen is now that this country, so many students are now exiting the university. Now that the system now has been changed, the CBE and the CBC, I don't know. Things have now changed that, and then we'll have millions of Kenyans who are exiting the universities. Now grade 9 to the university again. And we expect more and more young men to be going to universities and then remain again unemployed. Honorable Speaker, I think we need to change even our programs. We need to change our policies. One thing that we cannot always be looking for only a job in an office. We must also be skill-oriented. Technology must be improved. As rightly said, we also need, we must give avenues for the people to do job, self-employed. Honorable Speaker, one thing I have seen is actually most of the Kenyans are only looking for a job to work in offices. One place that is so untapped is actually in the agriculture sector. If you look at this country, currently we are becoming we are becoming only consumers. We are importing food from our neighbors and from outside. Honorable Speakers, millions of money is given as relief to drought-stricken areas every year, and that food comes from outside this country. And then we see chunk of lands that have been left idle. I think it's a high time that we must have a land tenure system that you compel the owners of those big land that remain idle for many years should be even taxed or produce food or allowed to use the same youth men and women who are ready to do farming so that they can be able to increase food production. This country's food is secure now as we talk, and we have a lot of idle land. The land tenure system in this country must be changed. That we are dividing our lands into to 2 acres, 3 acres, and therefore we're not even able to produce food. Today we're getting food from our neighbors, and they think if things continue, then this country will be becoming a country of consumers and only white-collar jobs. So it is high time that we must change our priorities. We must tell our students and our people that they must learn to till the land, they must be able to produce their own food, and they must be able to sell that food to the government so that the government can buy the food in a sort of importing food. And we're spending so much money in looking for buying food from the neighborhoods. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I think we have a policy issues that we need to change our policies. Honorable Speaker, one other thing is we have Juakalis, we have now students for Intervet. Then we need to now think about how these people be not only molding metals and these kind of things and making buckets, but they should be thinking that they should be able to produce parts of the vehicles. Instead of importing, something like discs, instead of importing like, rims, then the Kenyans must be able to produce those kind of things. So at least we can be able to go in that industry. Our people can be able to produce enough sabanas and then the wheels, what do you call it, rims, and even many other parts of the vehicle that can be done in this place, in this country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I think we must be now self-employment oriented, not looking for a job. The interns should be given money to self-employment. They should be able to go and farm. They go they tilt the farm or the land. They produce food. They sell, and that's the most productive and most engaging activity today in this country. And there is no one time. Even if you become a vegetable farmer, you will be able to have in the market always. If they produce, maize, the government should be able to buy from them. So that these guys, at every one given time, they are motivated that they can go and get employment. They produce food for this country, and that we can be able to now be very food secure in this country. One other thing, Honorable Speaker, I think our education system is only oriented. It's more of a rote memory than being practical. Most of these people, even the kids in other countries, you see them producing computers, you see them producing a lot of beautiful things, and the same things, technology has been actually taken at early age. The students are learning a lot of things. But this business, telling students go and draw something, go and cut boxes and do a molding. This is not what we want to do. We need to have at least a technical-oriented learning of our children at early ages so that they can be able to produce or make computers. They should make something, at least something that will be able to sell in this country. Honorable Speaker, I think we are wrong also in even our education system that we need to review it on a serious note, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the most important thing is, as I said, one other thing, Honorable Speaker, I think this intern business also should go to counties. Honorable Speaker, in the counties, if you look at the books, the amount of money that is spent on personal employment is just still huge. Some counties are going up to 72% to employ people. I think, and they're not even productive. So I think we need to actually, what we need to do is actually to streamline the systems of engagement of the people who are looking for employment. That the Public Service Commission must be able to produce and control the people who should be employed, who are going to be employed. The counties actually are employing people on their own. We have no services or the systems that says that you have a request of employing people. The interns, they go and do the intern, they get some little honorarium, and then thereafter they end up again going back to the streets. I think we need to create a system where a database where those interns are engaged and their skills are known, and that at least if it's going to be an NOIS, they go back to the forces. If it's going to be food production or crop production, whatever, farming, then they go for farming, and they encourage, actually. So I think what we need to do is actually to look at our systems of production, it's our system of labor, our systems of employment, and then we harmonize the schemes of employing people as it is. We are haphazardly actually doing interns, and this kind of internship is not going to help the people. With those few remarks, I beg to support the motion.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute to this very important motion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the young people in this country are very aggressive, and most of them are very aspiring and look forward to a big picture and a big future. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the trouble we have now is world over with young people and with opportunities. Mr. Speaker, the idea of internships is very good. And in fact, in the Committee of National Cohesion and Equal Opportunities, every time a government agency comes over to Parliament to meet this committee, one of the questions we do ask is how many interns are in the organization, and indeed quite a number have been posted. We also find out what is the distribution of these interns in terms of ethnicity and also regional balance, to make sure that when interns are posted, then you are able to pick and balance the country and give an opportunity at least to a young person. It is true, Mr. Speaker, that the monies they are earning is very meager, and they may not be able to do much about it, although some of them have developed into a full job out of this internship. But unfortunately, that cannot take care of all the young people in the country. There are quite a number of young people who actually, after university, have decided to go to farming. And I saw a television program, and a few from Uasin Gishu, particularly Honorable Oscar Sudi's constituency, who are growing chili and exporting. But from the interview, you could see they're very knowledgeable about agriculture. Some of them never even went through agriculture training, but they're able to read on the internet and get to find the best practices and the best way to make sure that crop is done. But from their look, they didn't look like they're young people who come from ordinary villages. These are young people most probably come from well-to-do families and unable to find a job, have decided to create jobs and through farming, and are of course well-funded to be able to have the capital, they have the land, and they're able to do something and actually employ quite a number of young people in this country. And I believe many young people, given an opportunity, will really go into manufacturing, will go into agriculture, will go into cattle keeping. They'll be very professional about it, and they'll be able to earn a living and even create jobs for others. And therefore, job opportunities are not only with government. Internship is not the final solution. Internship cannot employ all the young people in the country. And Mr. Speaker, all over the world now, everybody is being sent to their home, especially if you come from Africa. If you go to Germany right now, most of the demonstrations in town are because some young people who were born in Germany of African origin or Afghans, they're being told to go back to their homes. And even those who have already, been working and living there, there comes a time now they need to go back home. It is even now impossible to send money home for those who are working abroad, for the young people working abroad. Every country has come up with very stringent measures and taxes such that you can't send money home now for other people to benefit from here, Mr. Speaker, and to be able to begin small businesses. So it's a worldwide challenge, Mr. Speaker, and it calls really for a nation like our nation to do certain things in a certain way to make sure we encourage creativity. There's a lot of work, in the creative world. There's a lot of work, Mr. Speaker, through internet writing. There's a lot of work, Mr. Speaker, if we use the IT, technology under Konza City, Mr. Speaker. This is what is being prepared for. But Konza City cannot be and cannot grow into full city without water, which is Twake Dam, which for 3 years now are stalled. And Mr. Speaker, we need all these things so that Konza City can employ a lot of people. A lot of people can work in the space. A lot of people can work through internet, and all that is job creation and can accommodate a lot of people who would be interns. They can also do internship with online companies, Mr. Speaker, and be able to learn and pick a lot of information and be able to, Mr. Speaker, to employ themselves. So we should be looking at self-employment in future, job creation. But as the Honorable Amatinga has said, Mr. Speaker, when the cost of electricity is high, and I'm sure manufacturers like the Senator of Nakuru can tell you, when the cost of electricity is very high and the cost of fuel is very high, then it automatically, cost of investing becomes also very high and difficult. So there must be incentives to young people investing and any other investor, because when an investor, like the Senator of Nakuru invests, they end up hiring thousands of young people. Some of them become sales people. I know some from my village who have become millionaires, having worked with her and learned culture and having actually gone through internship through her. And today they are big-time business people who do the business she does and who do the supplies, and they are making a living out of that. And these are not people who have gone through very big education. They are just people who have basic education, but have learned business from the Senator of Nakuru. So a lot of other business people can do that, can help many other people grow, can help them, to do marketing, can help them grow their companies, and also, love their country and want to work for their country. Mr. Speaker, we should all love our country, and one of the best ways people love their country and build their country so that their country builds them is through voting. But what is happening now, Mr. Speaker? Go and register as voters. I'm expecting them when the IBC opens that they are there so that they can be able to vote and change the nation and live what they want, so that some of them can participate in election and come to this parliament, come to Senate. But unless you register as a voter, Mr. Speaker, how will you ever become a senator? Unless you register as a voter, how will you become a member of National Assembly? How will you become an MCA? How will you create change? So, Mr. Speaker, there is also a need for change of attitude with our people, because 90% of success, Mr. Speaker, experts say, comes and originates from the attitude one is adopting. So, Mr. Speaker, there is a lot of growing depression in the world. You have seen what is happening in the Sudan. You have seen what is happening all around us. You have seen what is happening in Russia, Mr. Speaker, after the war with Ukraine. Some of the young people are going home, mentally disturbed. Those who have participated in the war with the limbs missing, and then when they see a black person walking or in a train, you have a train attack, Mr. Speaker. So understanding that this problem is worldwide, then we need to narrow down to our country. As much as it is very good for the government to train as many young people as possible in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the Ministry of Interior, in all the organization we have, the national corporations, Mr. Speaker, there is also need to encourage local investment, creativity, and also, Mr. Speaker, to encourage young people to begin businesses, no matter how small, and grow them, those who have that aspiration. And Mr. Speaker, it is important we encourage also local industries to grow again. Mr. Speaker, a lot of engineers who leave the university, they will join the engineering companies, most of them run by the businessmen, especially from the Asian origin. They will go to industrial area and earn between 20 and 30,000. That will give them hope. They will gain the necessary experience, because a lot of jobs are asking for experience. And then after some time, Mr. Speaker, they will be able to become artisans themselves, to practice engineering, and get, a holding of their life. But Mr. Speaker, when we increase the taxes, when we increase the cost of living, and these companies migrate, investors leave our country. Investors get frustrated by high taxes. Investors get frustrated by riots, and the people are unable to run their businesses. Then, Mr. Speaker, then we don't build the country that way. The best thing is to make sure that the environment in the country is suitable for investors, so that investors bring in more interns in different fields, especially engineering, manufacturing, all that. And Mr. Speaker, then you will find a lot of young people are occupied usefully, and they're getting the necessary experience, and they want to live. As the Senator of Nairobi has said, when you pay somebody living in Nairobi 17,000, they are a graduate, they are of age to get married, they have a wife and children in the rural area, they are unable to meet the expectation of the village. They are unable to meet the expectation of those who took them to school, Mr. Speaker. They are unable, to meet the expectation of their communities. And therefore, it is important that this internship space expands. Even there are many employment opportunities in the religious industry, Mr. Speaker, in the churches. There are so many other places young people can go as interns, young pastors. They go into internship. They go to work, for the church, Mr. Speaker. But there are some frustrating practices and laws which make sure that these churches which are coming up are not even able to prosper. And those are some of the areas even will be dealing with the souls and mentoring the souls of young people, so that, Mr. Speaker, they can also be close to their God, and then God prospers them. So, Mr. Speaker, to sum up, the main idea is to build an industrial country. The main idea is to invest in agriculture, in businesses, investors in the country, Mr. Speaker, who are comfortable, so that they can be able to accommodate a lot of young people, give them hope, make them earn something, the earning grows, and also the economy of the country grows, Mr. Speaker, and such that people now come to our country. Mr. Speaker, the tourism industry, when we have many young people dealing with the tourism industry. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to support the Honorable Cherargei, the Senator, for this great idea. Mr. Speaker, other than focusing on the government, if you could expand it to include all spheres, so that even in my law firm, Mr. Speaker, I can be able to hire a few more. But when I don't have much business, Mr. Speaker, then I'll be sending the young lawyers away. But when I'm doing well, I'm able to hire more, and then they work for me, and then they pay more, Mr. Speaker, and build the nation. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Senator Cherargei, why are you interrupting members when they are contributing to your motion? If you don't want members to contribute, then I call you to reply, and we move on. But you know how to give it, isn't it? You know the procedure of giving information to the members. Not just echoing someone who is contributing to your motion. Next is Senator Consolata Nabwire wa Kwabubi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for according me this opportunity to contribute towards the motion. Most of the issues have been tackled, but I'll have a rider to what the 4 senators have presented. One, concerning the monetary stipend, I think there is also need for us to have a supportive infrastructure and welfare of these interns, in the sense that we need to enhance other aspects, like maybe having some health insurance for them, having some transport subsidy for them, and also maybe improving on the digital tools, since the youths are so much in the digital space. I want also to add the issue of having transparent reporting and oversight mechanism, which are some of the issues that can be added to that motion by Senator Cherargei, that we need to have some public defender, somebody who can be a voice of the citizen in form of an ombudsman or ombuds lady, because I'm gender sensitive. Then there's also need to have a legal or rather regulatory backing to push the legal rights of the interns in their internship spaces, since some of them tend to encounter some injustices, and therefore it is important to have such like a framework. So the internship guidelines can be amended to some level. And from my perspective, or rather from one of the committees that I serve on national cohesion, equal opportunity, and regional integration, I would also propose that we have an equitable distribution of internship opportunities, so that we also decentralize them to the counties or back to the grassroots, because we find that most of them are centralized in urban centers like Nairobi, Mombasa, and Kisumu. So that hampers the participation of other maybe youths. As a Kenyan and as a leader and a representative of the people, I want to point out that the youth bulge is tantamount to a demographic bomb that we are just sitting on. Instead of looking at the demographic dividends that we need to fetch as a country, we are silently watching. And therefore, that is why we are having a lot of unrest from our young generation, because they are idling. That is why we are having them engage in substance abuse, drug abuse, and all that, trafficking, and engaging in various vices. So as a country, it is important that we utilize this youth population to boost our economic growth and to boost development, since I tend to believe that youths are highly productive as compared to the advanced age where I also belong. But I'm not negating the fact that I need to be here. I need to be here so that I articulate issues on their behalf back at home. So I would also advise that maybe the Ministry of Public Service, in consultation with the Human Capital Development, can carry out a cost-benefit analysis to establish if this thing is viable. Let us look at it and carry out a cost-benefit analysis, because it will actually propel us to do informed choices, or rather informed decisions, to accommodate our youths. We need to establish clear transition pathways that have got realistic job prospects, so that the youths don't find the internship spaces just for free labor or as
empty spaces for running errands, because they also need to build on their skill sets and to develop their skills. We also need to promote innovation and maybe have some rewarding, to reward outstanding interns. So we can create an incentive scheme whereby we also reward them, appreciate them. You can give them certificates or even opportunities for further training. We are wasting our young population. We are really staring at having brain drain instead of brain gain. So as a country, I think we need to look at that. There are so many points, but I know most of them have been captured by the distinguished senators. So we only keep beefing up. So personally, I also want to accede to this motion by Senator Cherargei, and I acclaim you for proponing that motion. I support.
Very well, Senator Joyce Chepkoech, Korir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think much has been said by the honorable colleagues, but let me take a special. Let me congratulate Honorable Cherargei for the efforts that he has really put forward in terms of making sure that a number of issues are addressed. Honorable Speaker, the motion that is before us is a motion that is affecting our youths. And I want to say that a number of colleagues have mentioned a number of things. Honorable Speaker, the request by the motion mover in terms of making sure that there is increment in terms of the salaries or the stipends that are being given, I think, Honorable Speaker, with the common sense, life has become so hard, and it's only prudent if we can try as much as possible. I know this is an issue that is going to affect the two houses in terms of budgeting, and it will be prudent for the two houses to give a special consideration to this, because this is the only way that we can assist our youth. I want to say, Honorable Speaker, a number of youths are suffering back at home, and I want to say that these youths have utilized their time. A number of them are so learned, only to find no space to work, Honorable Speaker. And I want to say that despite the challenges or despite the efforts that has been put forward by the government in making sure that they have lent a hand to a number of youth through a number of programs, ranging from affordable housing, which I think a number of youths are operating there. I know, Honorable Speaker, they are paid peanuts, which at the end of the day, it might not sustain them, but though it's a way where I think the government is trying as much as possible to make sure that it is assisting them. I know a number of ministries also have been able to observe a number of youths, including the TSC, which has played a key role in terms of making sure that a number of teachers are observed. But still, a number of teachers who graduated back in 2010, 2011, the P1s, are still within the ground, Honorable Speaker, and attended, Honorable Speaker. So I just want to say that it is indeed a challenge, despite the fact that we have all these programs. The ministries have even invented a way of taking the youths abroad, but there should be a clear way. Sometimes they take ages for them to even actualize the issue of documentation, which I want to believe if they are given room during, for example, if a public service give them the opportunity to serve as the interns, it should be they should be given the first priority when it comes to jobs abroad, because at the end of the day, they have gained the experience, They have gotten the opportunity. Now they can exit so that others can also get the opportunity to be trained and gain that experience, Honorable Speaker. So I want to say the fast tracking of the documentation is what we are also requesting the Ministry of Labour through the assistance of our committees, so that at least when these youths are done with